Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a moment. Because if you're listening to this right now, it means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, God is not finished with you yet. Every single morning you wake up, before the phone, before the noise, before the opinions of people, there is a moment where your mind is empty and ready to be programmed. And most people waste that moment. They wake up worried, complaining, scared, already defeated before the day even begins. But winners build their mind every single morning. You have to understand something about life. Life does not respond to what you want. Life responds to who you are becoming. And who you are becoming starts with what you think about first thing in the morning. If you wake up thinking small, you'll live small. If you wake up thinking fearful, you'll act fearful. But if you wake up and remind yourself that you are capable, chosen, and still in the game, your entire day shifts. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something powerful about the way you start your morning, because most people don't realize this truth. The first thoughts you allow into your mind when you wake up set the direction for your entire day and eventually for your entire life. Before you touch your phone, before you listen to the news, before you hear anybody else's opinion, your mind is open, fresh, and unguarded. That moment is either going to make you stronger or weaker. There is no in between. See, the mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it daily, it becomes soft, and every morning is a training session. When you wake up complaining, thinking about problems, worrying about bills, replaying yesterday's failures, you are teaching your mind to expect defeat. But when you wake up with intention, reminding yourself who you are and where you're going, you are building mental strength before life even has a chance to challenge you. Most people let life attack them before they prepare. They wake up late, rush through the morning, already stressed, already behind, already tired. Then they wonder why everything feels heavy. It feels heavy because you never gave your mind any armor. A strong mind is not built during the crisis. It is built before the crisis shows up. That preparation begins every single morning. You don't have to feel motivated when you wake up. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. The discipline to control your thoughts when you wake up is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. When you say to yourself, today I will stay focused, or today I will not let small things steal my peace. You are programming your mind for strength. And the mind believes what you repeatedly tell it. Your mornings matter because your mind is looking for direction. If you don't give it direction, it will wander straight into fear, doubt, and negativity. That's why some people feel anxious before the day even starts. They never told their mind what to focus on. They let the mind run wild. But successful people take control early. They decide how the day will feel before it begins. Every morning is a reminder that you survived everything that tried to break you. You woke up again. That alone means there's purpose still attached to your life. When you start your day acknowledging that, your confidence grows. You stop walking into the world like you're already defeated. You walk in knowing you're still chosen, still capable, still in the fight. A strong morning mindset doesn't mean your problems disappear. It means your ability to face them increases. The problems may still be there, but your reaction changes. You become calmer. You become more focused. That's what mental strength looks like. It's not loud, it's steady. When you build your mind every morning, you stop giving external situations control over your emotions. One bad conversation doesn't ruin your day. One delay doesn't destroy your confidence. One mistake doesn't define you. Why? Because you already reminded yourself who you are before stepping outside. The greatest gift you can give yourself each morning is belief. Belief that you can handle whatever comes your way. Belief that today can be productive. Belief that growth is happening, even if you don't see results yet. When belief becomes your first thought of the day, Your mind becomes unshakable. This is why the morning matters. This is why the start determines the strength. If you master your mornings, you master your mindset. And when your mindset is strong, life doesn't break you, it reveals you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share a truth that took me a long time to understand. Your life does not change because you wish it to change. Your life changes when you decide to take responsibility for it. And that decision must be renewed every single morning. Responsibility is not a burden, it is power. The moment you stop blaming people, circumstances, and bad luck, your mind begins to grow stronger. See, most people wake up already pointing fingers. They blame their past, their parents, their partner, the economy, the system. And as long as you are blaming, you are giving away your power. Because if someone else is responsible for your life, then someone else controls your future. A strong mind understands that even when things aren't your fault, they are still your responsibility. When you wake up and say, I am responsible for my attitude today, something shifts. You stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. You stop needing everyone to treat you right before you do right. You realize that no matter what happens, you still get to choose how you respond. That choice is strength. Life is unfair. Let's just say that out loud. Some people start ahead. Some people have more help. Some people get opportunities you never got. But fairness has nothing to do with greatness. If you wake up every morning focused on what's unfair, your mind stays weak. But when you wake up focused on what you can control, your mind becomes powerful. Taking responsibility means accepting that your habits are shaping your future. What you do daily matters more than what you do occasionally. If you keep waking up late, skipping discipline, avoiding growth, you can't be surprised by the results you get. But the beautiful thing is this: the moment you change your habits, you change your direction. And mornings are where habits are born. A strong mind also understands that excuses feel good, but they cost you everything. Excuses protect your comfort, but destroy your potential. Every morning, you have to make a choice: comfort or growth. Comfort will let you stay the same. Growth will demand effort, sacrifice, and consistency. But growth always pays a better reward. Responsibility also teaches you emotional control. You stop reacting to every little thing. You stop letting people push your buttons so easily. Why? Because you accept that your emotions belong to you. No one can make you angry without your permission. No one can steal your peace unless you hand it over. That level of control comes from a trained mind. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop expecting motivation from the outside. You don't wait for someone to encourage you. You don't wait for perfect timing. You understand that progress comes from showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Every morning, remind yourself that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a product of your decisions, and decisions can be changed. That realization alone can transform the way you walk through life. You stand taller. You speak with more confidence. You move with intention. Responsibility builds self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, your confidence grows. When you do what you said you would do, your mind begins to trust you. And when your mind trusts you, fear loses its grip. That's real strength. The strongest people are not the ones with the easiest lives. They are the ones who took ownership of their story. They stopped complaining and started building. And that mindset, built every morning, is what separates those who stay stuck from those who rise. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real about pain, failure, and disappointment, because everybody wants success, but nobody wants the process. Nobody wakes up excited about struggle, rejection, or slow progress. But here's the truth you have to understand if you want a strong mind. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your instructor. Every morning, you have to remind yourself that what you're going through is shaping you, not stopping you. Most people wake up trying to avoid discomfort. They want an easy day, an easy life, easy results, but easy never made anyone strong. Easy never built discipline. Easy never created greatness. Strength comes from learning how to stand up when things don't go your way. And that lesson must be planted in your mind daily before the world tests you. Failure hits different when you're not mentally prepared. If your mind is weak, one loss will make you quit. One rejection will make you doubt yourself. One setback will convince you that you're not good enough. But when you wake up reminding yourself that failure is part of the journey, you stop taking it personally. You start seeing failure as a statement about your worth and start seeing it as information. Every successful person failed repeatedly before they succeeded. The difference is not talent, luck, or connections. The difference is mindset. They didn't let failure talk them out of their future. They didn't let embarrassment define them. They woke up and tried again. That's mental toughness. Pain has a purpose. It teaches you patience. It teaches you humility. It teaches you endurance. Some of the strongest lessons you will ever learn come from moments you wish never happened. But without those moments, you would not have the depth, wisdom, or strength you need for what's coming next. Every morning, you have to tell yourself that if you're still in it, you're still growing. Life will humble you. It will take plans apart. It will close doors you prayed would open. And in those moments, you have two choices. You can get bitter or you can get better. A bitterness makes you small. Growth makes you powerful. And the choice between the two is made in your mind before the day even starts. A strong mind doesn't pretend pain doesn't exist. It acknowledges it and keeps moving. It understands that progress is not always loud. Sometimes progress looks like showing up tired. Sometimes it looks like trying again after being embarrassed. Sometimes it looks like staying disciplined when no one is watching. That quiet strength is built daily. When you stop running from pain, fear loses its grip on you. You realize you've already survived worse than what you're facing now. You stop panicking, you stop overthinking. You start trusting yourself. That confidence doesn't come from winning all the time. It comes from knowing you can handle losing and still keep going. Failure also teaches clarity. It shows you what doesn't work. It exposes your weak areas. It forces you to grow skills, discipline, and patience. If you quit every time you fail, you rob yourself of that education. But when you wake up and accept that failure is part of the process, you stay in the game long enough to win. Every morning is a reset. Yesterday's loss does not have to define today's effort. Yesterday's mistake does not have to become today's identity. You are allowed to learn, adjust, and move forward. That mindset keeps your spirit alive. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who refuse to stay down. And that refusal is built quietly, consistently every single morning, long before the victory ever shows up. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about control, because one of the greatest strengths you can ever develop is control over yourself. Not control over people, not control over circumstances, but control over your reactions. Most people lose their power not because life is too hard, but because they react to everything emotionally. And every morning, your mind must be trained to respond wisely instead of reacting quickly. Life will test you daily. People will say things they shouldn't say. Situations will not go according to plan. Delays will show up when you're already tired. If your mind is untrained, every one of those moments will throw you off balance. You'll spend your energy being angry, offended, or frustrated. And by the end of the day, you'll feel drained without having accomplished anything meaningful. A strong mind understands this simple truth. Not everything deserves a reaction. Silence is sometimes strength. Patience is sometimes power. Walking away is sometimes winning. When you wake up and remind yourself of this, you stop letting small things control your mood and your focus. Emotional control doesn't mean you don't feel. It means your feelings don't control your decisions. You can feel disappointed and still move forward. You can feel angry and still choose peace. You can feel fear and still take action. That balance separates the mentally strong from the emotionally driven. Every morning, you must prepare your mind for pressure. Pressure reveals what you've been practicing. If you've been practicing calm, you'll respond with calm. If you've been practicing discipline, you'll respond with discipline. But if you've been practicing excuses and emotional reactions, pressure will expose that too. Most arguments, regrets, and mistakes happen because people speak and act without thinking. A trained mind creates space between stimulus and response. That space gives you the power to choose wisely. And wisdom is not loud, it's intentional. When you control your reactions, people lose the ability to manipulate you. They can't push your buttons because you no longer hand them the remote. You stop being predictable. You stop being reactive. You become grounded. That stability is intimidating to chaos. Another powerful lesson is understanding that your peace is valuable. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to prove your worth. When you protect your peace, your mind stays clear, and clarity leads to better decisions. Mornings are where this discipline is built. Before the world challenges your patience, you must remind yourself that staying calm is not weakness. It is maturity. It is strength under control. Anyone can lose their temper. Not everyone can hold it. When you master your reactions, setbacks stop feeling like disasters. They become situations to solve. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what's the best response right now? That shift in thinking changes everything. Self-control also builds confidence. When you know you won't sabotage yourself emotionally, you trust yourself more. And when you trust yourself, fear decreases. You stop being afraid of difficult situations because you know you can handle them with grace. A controlled mind sees farther. It doesn't rush decisions. It considers consequences. It stays focused on long-term goals instead of short-term emotions. That ability is developed daily, not overnight. The people who rise in life are not the loudest or the most reactive. They are the ones who stay composed when others lose control. And that composure, built every morning, becomes their quiet advantage in a noisy world. Ladies and gentlemen, let me speak to you about consistency because talent without consistency is nothing. A motivation without discipline will always fade. Most people don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they don't stay committed long enough to see results. A strong mind understands that success is built in repetition, and that lesson must be reinforced every single morning. See, everybody wants big results, but very few people want small daily discipline. People want transformation, but they avoid routine. They want confidence, but they avoid the habits that create it. Every morning, your mind must be reminded that what you do daily matters more than what you do once in a while. Consistency is not exciting, but it is powerful. The truth is, growth is boring before it is beautiful. There will be days when you don't feel inspired, days when progress feels invisible, days when it seems like nothing is changing. That's where most people quit. But consistency is about showing up even when your feelings don't agree. A strong mind does not ask, do I feel like it? It asks, is this aligned to who I'm trying to become? Comfort is one of the biggest enemies of growth. When things feel good, people stop pushing. When routines get easy, people stop improving. Every morning you have to challenge yourself to step slightly outside what feels comfortable. Growth lives there. Confidence lives there. Discipline lives there. Consistency also builds self-trust. When you keep promises to yourself day after day, your mind begins to believe in you. And when your mind believes in you, doubt loses its voice. Fear doesn't disappear, but it stops controlling your actions. That's real mental strength. Most people wait for motivation to get started, But disciplined people start and let motivation catch up later. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Emotion change daily. Discipline stays. Every morning, remind yourself that you don't need to feel ready to be consistent. You just need to act. Small actions repeated daily create massive change over time. Reading a little every day builds knowledge. Exercising a little every day builds strength. Improving a skill a little every day builds mastery. The mind grows the same way. When you feed it discipline daily, it becomes resilient. Another thing consistency teaches you is patience. Results rarely show up on your schedule. Sometimes you're doing all the right things and still not seeing progress. That's when consistency becomes faith in action. Faith that what you're doing will eventually pay off, even if today doesn't prove it. A weak mind quits when results are slow. A strong mind stays committed because it understands the process. You are not wasting time when you are building habits. You are laying foundations. And foundations are not glamorous, but they hold everything up. Consistency also protects you from excuses. When discipline becomes routine, excuses lose power. You don't negotiate with yourself anymore. You don't overthink. You just do what needs to be done. That simplicity creates clarity, and clarity creates confidence. Every morning is a chance to recommit. Yesterday's inconsistency does not cancel today's effort. You don't need a perfect streak. You need persistence. Getting back on track is more important than never falling off. People who win in life are not always the smartest or the most gifted. They are the ones who stayed consistent when others got distracted. They kept going when others got bored. They trusted the process when others quit. Consistency is quiet. It doesn't seek attention, but over time, it creates results so loud they can't be ignored. And when you build that mindset every morning, you stop chasing success and start becoming someone success can't avoid. Ladies and gentlemen, let me leave you with one of the most important truths about building your mind every morning. What you say to yourself becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes how you live. Your inner conversation is shaping your confidence, your courage, and your future. And if you don't control that voice, it will talk you out of everything you're capable of becoming. Most people wake up and immediately criticize themselves. They replay past mistakes, missed chances, and failures before they even get out of bed. That kind of thinking weakens the mind. A strong mind does not deny the past, but it refuses to live there. Every morning, you must decide to speak life instead of limitation. Words are powerful because the mind listens to repetition. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, not smart enough, or too late, your mind will accept that as truth. But when you start your day saying, I'm growing and I'm capable of more, your mind begins to align with possibility. This is not pretending. This is programming. Self-talk is not about lying to yourself. It's about choosing belief over doubt. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you are not who you used to be either. Progress deserves acknowledgement. Every morning, when you recognize how far you've come, your confidence grows naturally. A strong mind also understands that comparison is dangerous. When you compare your journey to someone else's, you ignore your own growth. Everyone's timeline is different. Everyone's path is unique. When you wake up focused on someone else's success, you weaken your own motivation. But when you wake up focused on your own improvement, your mind stays sharp. Another lesson you must remind yourself of daily is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. When you wake up thankful, stress loses its grip. Fear loses its volume. You realize that you already have evidence of resilience in your life. You've survived things you once thought you couldn't. Self-belief also means forgiving yourself. Carrying guilt, regret, and shame into a new day drains mental energy. You cannot build a strong future while punishing yourself for the past. Every morning is an opportunity to release what no longer serves you and move forward lighter. Your mind also needs reminders of purpose. You woke up today for a reason. Even on days that feel ordinary, your presence matters. When you start your day with purpose, your actions gain meaning. You move with intention instead of drifting through life. Positive self-talk does not eliminate challenges. It equips you to face them. When problems arise, instead of panicking, you remind yourself that you've handled difficulties before. That confidence calms your mind and sharpens your decisions. Building your mind every morning means choosing encouragement over criticism. It means being your own supporter when the world is silent. It means learning to motivate yourself instead of waiting for external validation. Over time, this daily practice changes how you carry yourself. You speak differently. You think differently. You respond differently. Confidence becomes natural because it's been reinforced consistently. The strongest people are not those who never doubt themselves. They are the ones who refuse to let doubt have the final word. And when you train your mind every morning with belief, gratitude, and purpose, you build a mental foundation that no setback can easily shake.